Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This the news beat presented to you by Ladies Like. Follow the beat from the studio to the street. Info with the flow keeps you sharp and in the know. Sit back, relax, enjoy the news. Follow. Uganda's National Theatre has hosted cultural and artistic events for over 60 years and has provided a home to arts and entertainment societies from various cultures. But lately, this culture center, which is at the center of Kampala City, has been one of the spaces pursued by developers. As Prime Property consequently reports on the proposed sale of the theatre that emerged last year, prompted the Ugandan government and the theatre management to clear the air. The two institutions also said that the theatre was not to be demolished, but rather renovated, according to a plan approved by Uganda National Culture Center and the Ugandan cabinet. The UNCC management said that the theatre had not been habitable and profitable for years, and so it came up with an upgrade concept that will cost over $100 million. The proposed new facility is expected to have shopping arcades, restaurants and cinemas, a craft center, 4 auditoria, a traditional medicine center and many others. The theatre's piano shape will also be replaced with that of the Adungu musical instrument, as the piano shape represented the influence of the British establishment. This UNESCO heritage site is to be replaced by a 36-story modern facility, as Kampala loses one of its remaining historical buildings in the city. The project, which will be carried out in phases, is already underway, and some activities at the center will be relocated in the parking yard, crafts village and normal gallery. In 2010, 6 Nile Basin states signed what is known as the Entebbe Agreement, which set out the principles and the obligations of each member government regarding the use of the Nile resources and their management. Consequently, Egypt withdrew its membership from the Nile Basin Initiative over disagreements on key issues that it deemed sensitive. However, Egypt has returned to the regional body after 7 years of absence and wants to restore cooperation with all Nile Basin countries. But the North African country also intends to restore its authority of the Nile water resources as it seeks to amend 3 of the Entebbe Agreement's clauses. Egypt wants upstream countries to notify it in due time before starting any project along the River Nile. And for the sake of its water security, it wants to restore its historical annual quota, which is estimated as 55.5 billion cubic meters of water. The Entebbe Agreement, however, does not recognize Egypt's historical position and gives upstream countries the right to build dams without notification. Egypt also wants the voting clause, which favors the majority, to be readdressed and calls for the decision to be made in consensus with all member states, which could prevent formation of voting blocks among countries opposed to its interests. Nevertheless, Egypt was on top of the agenda as the Nile Basin Initiative welcomed back its historical member at the first and recent concluded summit for the Nile Basin countries in Uganda. Asian Kenyans seek to be declared a tribe of their own. What to MC Yala as she knows more?
Do you know who could become the youngest ethnic group in Kenya? The Muhindi descending from Asia. In surveys, Muhindi are currently classified as other, something that seems to bother Shakil Shabir, Kenya's first Asian MP, who wants to see an official classification for Kenyan Indians and Pakistani. Shakil says that despite Asian success in the Kenyan economy, the descendants of the anti-colonial fighters feel excluded socially and politically. You see, Muhindi are often disliked by Kenyans and even in our country by Ugandans because they are quite wealthy. But is such a dislike healthy? The Muhindi would become the 44th ethnic group in Kenya, which has a 45 million population and severe ethnic fragmentation. No wonder that some wonder if focusing on ethnicity is the key, or is it just an old colonial legacy? Even among Indian Kenyans, there is old tribal rivalry. Maybe the real urgency, instead of creating more tribes, is sharing an African identity and eradicate the negative vibes around the skin, race, tribe or face, and embrace friendship, intermarriage and coexistence instead of keeping distance. I'm MC Yala, reporting for Newsbeat.
In 2014, there was an Ebola outbreak that left thousands dead in its wake. The virus hit hard in West Africa, with the largest body count in Liberia. Now finally there might be hope for a solution, and it comes from Africa's young generation. Follow Boogie Mo with this report. Follow the flow, and don't miss a word.
Ebola is a disease with no cure, so chances for survival are poor. But if the virus is detected in time, patients can pull through and survive. That means time is of the essence. What if there is another occurrence? Scientists at the Redeemers University in Nigeria figured out a way to fight back against Ebola. The university students used their wits to patent rapid diagnosis test kits. Within 10 minutes, they can detect Ebola and Lassa fever within the test. The test kit has been approved already by the United States Food and Drug Agency and the World Health Organization. Hopefully, this will stem the devastation. The university has global research partners and a network of pathogen hunters, which they build by training scientists in the field of genomics. This kit has a step in the right direction, a sign of hope for West African nations. I'm Bogimo, reporting for Newsbeats.
That was the news of the beat. Next week will be another hit. Still ladies like reporting live and direct with love and respect. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Yes, follow the beat.